Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Steven Inks. My name is Steven, and today is another fountain pen review. We'll be talking about the Picasso 916. I bought this pen a few weeks ago, just kind of on a whim, thinking, I don't know. I know really nothing about this company, and it just seemed within my price range, and I thought I'd give it a try. So we're going to look at it today, use it to do some art, and see what we think. Here is the pen. It comes in this cardboard box, pretty sturdy box. Little plastic cardboard, a plastic coated cardboard sleeve that it comes in. And this is the logo. I like this little face thing that's going on there, and this is some Chinese characters, I believe, that I cannot translate for you. Opening it up, there is the pen. Underneath, there's some packaging and things we can look at. Comes in a little plastic sleeve. Let's take a look at this pen first. So, what I'm seeing is an aluminum body. It's got a little end cap that's separate. Don't know how I feel about that. It looks like a almost pewter looking metal, which is matched in the clip, which is a pretty stiff clip. Logo on the front there, it's hard to see. And then here's a little kind of a chrome reddish band around the outside. When I pull the cap off, it's a friction fit cap. You can see there's a plastic slip and seal in there. One of the things that I do kind of criticize about plastic slip and seals is if it ever breaks, then you can't put the pen back on the cap, which is something that I've experienced. So there are a few pens that don't do this. But for a metal pen, sometimes that's something that I kind of worry about. But all right, fair enough. The section has a nice, just a nice little angle here, not a huge step up. This pen kind of reminds me of like a Pilot Metropolitan because it's made out of aluminum. But it doesn't have that step up that I really don't like. So I already prefer this. Let's see how it writes. Got an extra fine nib, nice little stamping, and the logo. Opening it up. Quite a few turns to get it off the body, but there it is. It's a cartridge converter. Pretty good action on the cartridge, on the converter, excuse me. It does one of my favorite things that a converter can do, which is you can actually take the converter itself apart, which means you can service it and re-lubricate it when it gets starts sticking and stuff. So this is a converter that'll last you a long time. Really happy with that. Here's the section. Let's see if we can pull. Yep, there we go. It's the nib, and the feed looks kind of like the TWSBI feeds, or no, it actually looks a lot like a Pilot feed. It's got that kind of long, thin shape. Comes to an edge there. All right, so that's the pen. Let's put it together, and then we'll ink it up. I could think of no better ink to use for this pen than my Noodler's Nightshade. It's such a lovely red color, and it won't match, but there is a red color, of course, on the band of this pen. So we're gonna put it in there. I always get a lot of comments about this particular ink when I use it. It's sort of a maroon brown, kind of a dried blood red, I've said before, which is very morbid. But I keep saying it. So I'm gonna use that on this pen. So let's stick it in there. Pull it up. All right, one fill puts us almost full. Let's see what a second one will do for us. Usually you want to, when it's the first time filling, if you really want to get as much as possible in there, you kind of want to do it once, expel the ink out and put it right back in. Quick dab off with some tissue, and there she is. All right, so 2 fills gave us plenty of ink there. Let's make some practice lines. How does this pen fare on some Strathmore 500 series mixed media paper? We're going to check that out right now. All right, so starting with some hatches. Okay. Yeah, nice even lines. I like the consistency. You can also taper off a little bit. It's thin enough that I don't feel like I would need some reverse writing. Let's try it though, just to be safe. This is forward. It's an extra fine. So nice little extra fine lines. And here's the reverse. And this is scratchy. So bear that in mind. It doesn't feel like it's designed to be a reverse writer. The pen cap posts doesn't feel that secure, but also it doesn't feel like it's gonna fall off either. Feels nice in the hand. I'm not sure. I think the back weighting on this, I kind of prefer it unposted, but it's long enough so it doesn't really matter. It feels good. Now my usual shading some 3D forms with this pen. Okay, this goes pretty well. Got some space for a sphere here. Taking a little haphazard approach here, getting some, just putting some values down. That's fun. So this is finer. It's about as smooth as a Pilot Metropolitan. The lines are a little bit finer, which I like. And it doesn't have that uncomfortable step down because I'm holding it right here, right on the step down. That's kind of where I hold my pens, because when I'm trying to get some strong straight lines, it's a lot easier than if I'm doing it down here. You probably can't tell the difference, but it felt different to me, definitely, holding it back here as opposed to in the front over here. So be that what it is, that is the situation. Let me give you some art advice. Before we move on. Here's one, I kind of read this on the internet the other day and it resonated with me. Figure out why you like to draw what you like to draw. Be self-reflective when you're doing art, because if you know why you like a certain thing, it's going to help you figure out how to do more of things like that and get increased joy from your art. Always go with what gives you joy? Because I feel like people can sense that in your drawings. There are drawings that I've made that have been just whatever, but I really loved making them, and that just makes me want to come back. There's no other person more satisfying to create for than yourself. And I know that might sound a little self-serving and selfish, but in fact, you know, when I'm doing my art, I'm glad that there are some people who care about it, but I would do it if nobody cared about it. And to be honest, sometimes my favorite pieces of art, nobody does care about them. So why do I keep doing it? Well, I do it to give myself joy, and I constantly think about, why is it that I like this? Is it my history with certain types of art? Is it just things that I feel like I'm good at drawing? Is it ideas that I think are funny? Whatever that is, keep chasing that. All right, let's draw with this pen. So, I wanted to explain a little bit of the idea behind this drawing, and it came about suddenly, where I just kind of had a flash of inspiration, decided to try something. It turned out that it was my friend's birthday recently, and I got invited out for dinner with him and his wife and my wife, and I just had this idea, and it turns out actually that my friend, who I have not gotten to connect with in a long time because of everything going on in the world, watches my videos every once in a while. So if you're watching, buddy, hi, happy belated birthday. I hope you are doing well. And I had this concept of an old, worn down car that's just barely holding it together. And that just is kind of a metaphor for my life right now. As a teacher, all the crazy things that are going on for us, it's been, I'll just say, it's been kind of a hard year to be a teacher. I feel like I say that every year, so I'm not sure what the plan is for the future. Maybe there'll be a year when it's not as hard as previous years to be a teacher, but I did think that last year doing distance learning was gonna be the most challenging year of my career, and it turns out that this year has been even more so. And my friend whose birthday it was, and his wife as well, actually are also teachers, so I figured they could relate to this idea. The pen served me really well in doing this. It was really reliable. I got a super consistent line, as you could see. Worked really well. So the situation with teachers right now is that we have this pandemic going on that nobody knows what the policy should be. We do know that we want kids to be in school, but we're not quite able to support when things happen, when kids miss school because of COVID-related things, and then when teachers have to miss school because of COVID-related things. A lot of the responsibility for covering all of that goes back on the backs of teachers who are trying to take care of their own health and who are worried about their families and positive cases that may be going through their communities as well. So it's not the best solution. It's a really, like I said, it's a really hard time to be a teacher. So, hug the teachers in your life. Actually, don't touch them. Better yet, buy the teachers in your life some coffee. I think they would appreciate that a little bit more. It's an interesting set of problems because in some ways there are some things that only teachers can solve. You have to be a teacher to teach a class. So when a teacher is gone, a lot of times teachers have one period throughout the day that's their preparation period. We call it our prep. And teachers are running into classrooms during their preps to cover the classes of teachers who are at home sick and not able to report to work. And those teachers, even though they're sick, are planning the lessons that the students are supposed to do without their teacher in the room. It's quite complicated. I'm sure if anyone out there has kids that are in school in the United States and probably some other countries as well, you have an idea of how strange it has been, and how there are lots of people, I think, that want to help, but there aren't very many who can. This is a really complicated problem, compounded by the fact that, at least in my school district and in a lot of districts throughout the state of California, and I've heard that in other states as well, it's the similar problem, is that we don't have nearly as many people as we need that are willing to be substitute teachers. So that also impacts, even when teachers know well ahead of time that they won't be able to report to work, we still can't find someone who can come in and help take some of this pressure off of our backs. And so here we are, barely holding it together. I should also say, on the other half of this drawing, which is quite long, so I had time to talk about everything I'm feeling. Sorry about that, by the way. But it should be noted that I don't want to just complain, because I should be, and I am, very grateful for a lot of things having to do with my job. The fact that I have one when, we have this economy and you or someone may be unemployed. So I don't want to be throwing that in anyone's face. I am very happy that I do have a job, and it's a hard job, but I do like my job. And a part of what attracted me to teaching as a career was the challenge of it. So here's all that extra challenge. We will survive, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and who's still interested in a teaching career when this year is over. I'll be here. And I hope that my friend and his wife will still want to continue in their teaching career, because I can tell that they are good teachers, and the world needs good teachers. Not just teachers, good teachers. And I try to be a good teacher as well. A lot of the stress of my job right now is concern for my kids who are living in an isolated place, and some of them not able to get complete access to their work, their school. So those are a lot of things going on in the world that are on my mind these days. I will say that it happens to be, and this is a little bit unfortunate, that for teachers, and it's just kind of the way that we are, when something happens and the world is not as it seems and extra work is required of us, oftentimes one of the first things to go is our personal life. So I get home from work and I'm just tired. I want to fulfill my promise to care for and spend time with my wife, and that means that personal stuff goes to the side. I haven't had as much time to draw or create. I haven't had much time to plan or think about my future, and I've got all kinds of cool plans that I really want to enact, and I just need the time, and I just need enough rest. So I'm filming this on a weekend after finishing a week that was very busy, and just running out the door an hour after classes ended, just trying to make sure that I have a full weekend, and hoping that I can make up what's missing on my Monday. But I am holding it together, and I hope you're holding it together too. And everyone out there, whether you're a teacher or someone else who's just dealing with extra stuff because of how the world is now, I hope you're doing all right. And and if I could send everyone who's barely holding it together this card, I would, but I just made the one. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for listening. Final thoughts. I am super impressed with this pen. For a company that I haven't thought about much or given much attention to, Picasso really killed it with this 916. It's very comfortable. It's a decent amount of weight For an all metal pen, it seems very well built, especially for its price. The line weight is consistent throughout, and I had a lot of fun using it. So I will definitely be using this again, and this is within the price range where I feel comfortable taking it out, taking it to work, dropping it in a bag and using it as a daily writer or drawer, or just a pen to create some really fun art with. So that is my thought on this pen. I highly recommend it. There's links if you want to check it out yourself down below in the video description. Thank you everyone for liking, for subscribing, for leaving a nice comment. I really appreciate it. And it's been nice building this little community. If you are not subscribed to my channel, would you consider subscribing below? I'd love it, and we'd love to welcome you to our little family. Take care of yourselves, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.